I mean, especially with this background of like with a background where it was very clear what quality meant. Like when you play a classical instrument or a specific work that somebody composed, if you don't play the note right, then it's wrong. And so, that is very obvious in music. It's clear what is good and what is wrong. So that means the quality criteria are very explicit. And I don't know whether this is still true when you go to a certain level of excellence, then maybe the quality criteria get more complex. But at the beginning, I think it's very clear what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. And now in fine art, how to judge what you're doing works totally differently. It's not about good and bad, but I think it's about maybe focus and intensity, but not, you know, somebody can focus on their work and increase the intensity by being extremely disciplined and having the finest strokes with the pencil. But the same could be true if somebody would do the total opposite and make very broad and insensitive strokes. So you can find quality in fine art in any mode of operation. And the consequence of that is that, first of all, each of us, we need to find our own relationship to the tools that we are using. How do you hold the pencil? How do you sharpen the pencil? Do you want the pencil that gets sharpened, or do you want, you know, one of these pencils where you have to, do you want to use a pencil? There's an infinite amount of questions, and these questions don't even say anything about the relationship that you have to the tool. But like with a flute, I'm pretty sure there's a way of holding it, a way of breathing into it, blah, blah, blah. And if you do it right, then the proper result is here. And yeah, this kind of quality criteria doesn't exist in art. It's about you finding and establishing maybe your relationship with your tools. And that is not something that you, in my opinion, establish once and then it's done, but it is something that you keep developing throughout your entire life, because it will change. The way that you hold a pencil today might not be how you hold a pencil in a year or in 5 years or in 20 years. And so more important than understanding how you hold your pencil today is to see the value in the question. It's important for me to understand my relationship to my tools. And so, okay, we have that, we have tools, and out of tools, there comes another area of research that we will be in our entire lives, and that is our relationship to craft and what craft means to us. Do I want to do super fine-grained, detailed work, and who did it like that, and can I learn something from them? Or do I want to do the total opposite? And that's just one level of craft. It has many, maybe also infinite layers. And then now you have tools and craft, also your medium. And then the most important thing that doesn't even exist, I think, in this kind of music that we were discussing, is what do you do with the tools and the craft? And then it becomes very personal and very vulnerable, because it's only about you. So at that point in time, it might be more important, as you said, to go to therapy, to increase your knowledge of self and your appreciation of self, and maybe also being humble about life. Then it makes potentially sense to study the history of oil painting. I don't want to downplay the history of oil painting, of course, but tools, craft, media, and then what do you do with it? And what do you do with it is not a question that you need to answer as a musician that plays other people's compositions. And this is the scary part, but this is the beauty of it. Because that is where you actually get to have a voice. So symbolically speaking, this is where you begin to exist.